So here's Jake Tapper. He's on a kind of liberal podcast.
How Long Gone?
Kind of talking about some of this
podcast,
stuff. So
yeah.
listen to this clip.
I understand why Democrats are struggling so much because they just don't speak any language that my son speaks. My son games. He plays football. He likes police. He is just
The band.
Not the band, the institution.
no, not the band. I don't think he knows what the band is.
My
I don't
son
think he has any
likes
idea who
police.
Sting. No, police, cops. He likes cops, not the TV show.
Like he thinks they're cool. Like I don't understand. Like what about a cop?
He said he likes the military. He likes police. I don't know.
Whoa.
How does he feel about minorities?
He's pro, but I mean, I think the thing is also, but
Tapper struck here. What boy didn't like the police?
Yeah.
Can we just talk about the hero complexes inside of there?
Right.
Yeah.
The
G.I.
military, G.I. Joe, American hero.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe is there. That's just traditional red-blooded Americanism is flowing through this boy's veins.
Right.
And I don't know how, because I know who his daddy is on CNN. So it's just like, it's kind of weird, but like, I'll take it. But even he's offended by this. Those guys sound gay. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Oh, for real.
Yeah,
They sound super gay.
So here's Jake actually reviewing this interview on another podcast.
my son is now 15 years old, and he's a gamer. He's a football fan. He's starting linebacker on his varsity football team. The Democratic Party has no way of communicating with him.
Ooh.
They have no entree into his world. And in fact, it's interesting. I went on a left-leaning podcast that shall remain nameless, and we were talking about my kids because I think they were both people without kids. And they asked me about my son, and I said
Jab.
he was, he's a football player and he wants to be a policeman. And their joke was about my 15-year-old son. Oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea that he wants to be a policeman, therefore he's racist, my son. And that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged in the comments and all that stuff.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, this is why you are losing elections.
100%.
Like my football playing son, who has no political views. He's 15. He thinks about World War II and gaming and playing linebacker. That's his world. You're deciding he's a racist because he wants to be a cop. And why does he want to be a cop? He wants to be a cop because he wants to help people. And that's how the Democratic Party talks to men.
In that moment where you sit up here and you have your son being mocked by two gay men because he wants to be a protector, and then you think it's absolutely being bold later to come in and say something about it on another podcast.
Yeah.
When in the moment, if you
didn't defend his son.
You didn't. That's right there. This is a guy who's on one of the Democratic national platforms every day. CNN.
Right.
Yeah.
And he has a chance to defend his own son.
Right.
How much you feel as a son to see your father just kind of like, okay, just
kind of ignore it.
bypass
Just
it.
keep
And
going.
then
That's a really good point.
and come up later in another podcast when it doesn't take any boldness, and then cuss him out and talk about him when you had the moment right then and there, Dad, to be the man.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I love police officers, because I want to defend the weak. I'm the one weak right here, and you should have been defending me and say, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at a young man who wants to defend people and protect them?
The most charitable read on this is that he's a very, very conflicted man.
Yes.
He's a very, very
That's a very nice way to say it.
conflicted. He largely, I think, would probably be sympathetic to a lot of the Democratic talking points,
Yes.
but he also loves his son.
Yep.
And this is why, incidentally, why the natural family is so good for the world.
Yeah.
The natural,
just natural law principles you can't avoid.
Marriage and kids is good for the world. This is why we want civil government to defend natural marriage, natural family, because it's good for the world, because you get a 15-year-old son and you watch that and you love your flesh and blood. You're naturally loyal to that flesh and blood. You may suck at being a parent. You may not be very good at being a dad, but you love that boy. You love that son. And you see the things that he loves, and you think, he's not doing this because he hates people.
Right.
There's something in this that there's virtue there. There's something good there. And he knows that. But at the same time, he knows that you know, he knows the narrative.
Yeah.
Which is probably why he's not in a position to defend his son like he ought to.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's conflicted, but at the same time, afterwards, it clearly, you know, it bothered him.